In 1965, an elderly gentleman stood on the deck of a freighter in Boston Harbor and wrote this prayer. How will I make them understand this message of Krishna consciousness? I am very unfortunate, unqualified, and the most fallen. Somehow or other, O Lord, you have brought me here to speak about you. Now, my Lord, it is up to you to make me a success or failure as you like. 12 years later, Hare Krishna was a household word. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada had been more than successful. He had founded the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, a worldwide confederation of over 100 ashrams, schools, temples, and farm communities, and had made the chanting of Hare Krishna familiar to millions of people. He had written and published over 80 volumes of translation and commentary on self-realization, which are now standard in universities and libraries around the world, and he had gathered about him thousands of dedicated disciples. Srila Prabhupada became known to the world as a scholar, philosopher, social critic, and spiritual leader. But to his disciples, Srila Prabhupada was dearmost friend, father, and inner guide. The importance of the spiritual master to his disciples cannot be overstated. It is said that only by the mercy of the spiritual master can one receive the benediction of Krishna, and without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any spiritual advancement. So the disciple's entire life focuses on the spiritual master and his instructions. In this relationship, the activities of the spiritual master are of monumental importance to his devotees. A disciple finds meaning even in the smallest gesture. Wherever he traveled, Srila Prabhupada would emerge daily into the chill and quiet of the early morning, and cloaked in a warm wrap, he would take a lengthy stroll with an entourage of students, disciples, and guests. Some mornings would find Srila Prabhupada immersed in contemplation or quiet appreciation of natural scenery. At other times, Srila Prabhupada would speak at great length and often with considerable intensity on various subjects. During these animated discourses, Srila Prabhupada would turn the profound Vedic philosophy into a practical cutting edge that penetrated every sphere of life and thought. The word Acharya means one who teaches by example, and the following unedited footage provides an intimate glimpse into the exemplary life of Srila Prabhupada. To most people, the daily activities of a spiritual master are a mystery, and it is interesting to see how such an important historical figure conducted his everyday affairs. What emerges is an endearing portrait of an authentic spiritual personality.
Is that escaping or it is intelligent? That you work hard and give it to him, he enjoy. This is intelligent. This is not escaping. That is going on. The capitalists, they are engaging these rascals, asses, in the factory and he's enjoying life. So that is intelligence. They let these rascals work hard and make a nice park for us, and we shall take advantage of it. This is intelligence. And it is called Ajagar Vritti. Ajagar Vritti, Ajagar means the big snake is called Ajagar. So these mouse, they make hole and want to live there, and the comfortable living. In the meantime, the Ajagar comes, he eats that mouse and lives comfortably. So our is Ajagar Vritti. You work for the whole to live comfortably, but we take possession of the house and live comfortably.
कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन जमुना तीर बनचारी जमुना तीर बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीर बनचारी यमुना तीर बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य भक्तिवेदांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी भगवान की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। रामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तमुनि की जय। Shri Radha Krishna Mo Gopinath Sam Khund Radha Khund Giri Godhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, New Dwarka Dham ki jai, Swami Bhaktivedanta ki jai. All glories to the Swami. All glories to the Swami. Thank you very much.
All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Prabhupada.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
This is a conversation between Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami. Maharaj Parikshit, 5,000 years ago, he was the emperor of the whole world. Formerly, up to 5,000 years ago, the whole world was being controlled and ruled over by kings whose capital was Hastinapur, New Delhi. There was only one flag, only one ruler, one scripture, Vedic scripture, and the Aryans, the Arya, they were the civilized persons. You, Europeans, Americans, you are also Aryans, Indo-European stock. Maharaj Tejasi, grandson of Maharaj Parikshit, he gave to his two sons the portion of Eastern Europe, Greek and Roman. That is the history. Mahabharata. Mahabharata means great India. So, there was no different religion, one religion, Vedic religion. Vedic religion means to accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the Supreme Person, Absolute Truth. This is Vedic religion. Those who have read Bhagavad Gita, it is said there in the 15th chapter, Vedaishta sarvai ahamiva vedyam. Vedic knowledge means to understand God. This is Vedic. Later on, with the progress of Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga means the dark age or the sinful age, or the age for argument, unnecessary talks and fight. This is called Kali Yuga. That is going on. Since the last 5,000 years, the Kali Yuga has begun, and the beginning of Kali Yuga was cow slaughtering. So, at the present moment, practically there is no Brahmin, no Kshatriya, no Vaishya, only Shudras, fourth class men. So you cannot expect any happiness guided by the fourth class men. That is not possible. Therefore, throughout the whole world, there is chaotic condition. Nobody is happy. So, this is essential that the human society must be divided into 4 divisions. The Brahmin class means the first class ideal man, so that by the seeing their character, their behavior, others will try to follow. Jad jad acharati shrestha. So this Krishna consciousness movement means we are trying to create some first class man. This is Krishna consciousness, this movement. So, therefore, we have got these rules and regulations. No illicit sex, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling. This is the preliminary qualification of a first class man.
Prabhupada? Prabhupada, on our tape recorder here that we have.
So, past, present, future, you exist, the body changes. Is it not clear?
That's clear.
Yeah. So therefore, the conclusion that when he'll not have this body, he'll have another body. You are sitting here, if you don't sit here, you go. That does not mean you are sitting, opportunity is lost. You are sitting here, you will sit somewhere. Similarly, the change of body is going on. Therefore, the conclusion is that after you give up this body, you will have another body, as you have already done. What is the difficulty to understand?
The seeming difficulty is that while the body is different from that of a boy.
Different body must be different, therefore that is called change of body. Unless it is a different body, where is the change?
The memory is there, the boy, and or the spirit is there.
The memory, sometimes we may not remember, just like this child, he may not have memory when he was very small, but you have got memory. You know, when he was a small child, you are doing something, or he was playing with some cats and dogs, but he does not remember that. But you remember it. So, simply because he has forgotten, does that mean that the incidences were not present? So this argument is not very strong because I cannot remember. You do not remember so many things. But the fact is this, that you are changing from this body to this body to this body. Therefore the conclusion should be, that after this body I will accept another body. And that's the fact. As you have accepted in this life from one body to another body, there is a process how to accept it. Similarly, under the same process, you accept another body when this body is no longer useful. Just like at night, you give up this body, you take your subtle body and you go to somewhere. You are sleeping in your room, but you are working in a different place. Don't you do that? So, because this body is still useful, therefore you come to back again this body, and in the morning you wake up with this body. So death means when this body is useless, you do not come to this body, you accept another body. This is called death. That subtle body takes you from this body to the womb of another mother by nature's direction, that this soul shall get this kind of body. So the soul is entered in the womb of another mother's body, and then the body is prepared by the mother's blood and flesh, and when the body is sufficiently capable of working itself, then it comes again and begins its work. This is birth and death. The soul is eternal. Therefore, a sober man should think, why should I change my body? Why this trouble I shall take? That is human sense. If I am eternal, why not my eternal body? Eternal existence, why shall I die? This is human sense. Unless one comes to this understanding, he is animal. Because animal, by nature's law, is going on. He does not know. Then a human form of body, when he understands that I will have to change this body, I will have to get another body, then the question is, what kind of body I shall get? That is human intelligence. By nature's way, we are getting body, but that is on the selection of the nature according to my work. If I work like animal, I get animal body. If I work as demigod, I get demigod body. If I act as trees, then you get tree body. If you acted like dog, you get dog's body. Nature's way. Therefore you find so many varieties of body. This philosophy does not appeal. Natural. I want to love. It is not unnatural. When that love is reposed to Krishna, that is what. The Mayavadi, they are frustrated. Therefore they want to make this love into jiva. They cannot understand Krishna's love with gopis. They think it is another edition of this material. How are you? Are you good, Prabhu? How are you? You look better. You are looking better, brighter when I saw you leaving last week. You have got so much talent for serving Krishna. Everyone has got. That I am speaking. We have to do right. So that modern man can understand. Otherwise, we are repeating the same thing. They are repeating also same thing. Sense gratification. punak charjita charvanana. But because that is material, they are not getting happiness. But the spiritual thing, we are chanting the same Hare Krishna, simply, repeating, but we are getting transcendental peace. What we are doing? Same Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, process is the same, the subject matter is different. So why you are behind publication? Now all the big men are here. Why our books are behind? So, if we wait for another birth, maybe we may not get even Bharat Maharaj. He also slipped, he became a deer. So we should always keep vigilant. We have got this opportunity, human form of life. Let us utilize it to the fullest extent and be fit for going back to home. That is intelligence. Not that all right, I suggest again chance next month. That is not very good policy. Turnam. Turnam means very hastily finish. Turnam jaseta anumukta paseta yavat. These people are wasting time. They are resounding some sound, thinking that this sound will say, this is called foolishness, mura. Ask them that why you are shouting so loudly, chant Hare Krishna. They laugh.
What did Bhaktivedanta Thakur mean when he said, "I'm going my work unfinished"? And Bhaktivedanta Thakur stated that he was leaving this planet with his work unfinished.
Let us finish. We are descendants of Bhaktivedanta Thakur. We kept unfinished so that we shall get the chance to finish it. That is his mercy. He could have finished immediately. He's Vaishnava, he's all powerful. Prapta sakalana gunana vasha Bande Gurasi Charanarabindam Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita
In 1965, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, a Vedic scholar and holy man in the renounced order of life, left India for America to transform a bold vision into a historical reality of global dimension. To fulfill the desire of generations of Indian saints who wished to see India's timeless spiritual culture benefit the entire world, Srila Prabhupada left India and sailed to the United States. When he arrived by freighter, he was practically penniless, but after nearly a year of struggle, he established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness in July of 1966. In the years that followed, the society grew rapidly, and Hare Krishna became familiar to millions of people. Srila Prabhupada became the focal point for the public's interest in the Hare Krishna movement, but he was never too busy to carefully answer any question. And, with each and every encounter, he would open the doors to the ancient philosophical and spiritual knowledge of India. An Acharya is one who teaches by example. By his personal example, Srila Prabhupada demonstrated that the soul, the self, is naturally eternal, full of knowledge, and full of transcendental bliss. When a living being is awakened to his original constitutional position of Krishna consciousness, he becomes filled with sublime, exalted spiritual emotions that have no material counterpart. As a great self-realized and God-conscious saint, Srila Prabhupada often exhibited the spiritual happiness that Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita. That sacred and ancient fountainhead of wisdom has this to say about the final state of human perfection. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness and enjoys himself through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he knows there is no greater gain.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You founded the Hare Krishna movement some 7 years ago in 1967, did you not?
Yes.
In a capsule, what is the movement?
The movement is to awaken God consciousness of the human being. The human being is distinguished from the animals, that the animals cannot understand what is God.
Mm-hmm.
And if the human being also does not understand what is God, then he is enemy.
I see. And so your movement is to bring about an understanding of God among human beings.
Yes.
And Hare Krishna means what?
Hare Krishna means addressing the energy of God. Hare means the energy of God, and Krishna means God.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you were here yesterday and to attend your annual festival that was held here in Golden Gate Park, and we were there too. And in fact, here it is. A few thousand people came out to hear it. How many people are now disciples of the Krishna consciousness movement?
Dedicated life, about 10,000.
About 10,000 dedicated
in
ones.
the Western world.
Mm-hmm. Your Grace, is there any significance at all in the shaved head? Why are heads shaved?
We keep ourselves very clean, that's all.
Oh, it's just a cleanliness thing?
Yes.
Is there any significance in the color of the robes?
At least at the present moment, people think that by keeping long hair, it becomes very beautiful.
I see.
Yes. So we are against that.
Mm-hmm. Just as simple as that. Is there any significance in the yellow robes?
Yellow robe is the dress, those who are dedicated.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It could very well have been a blue robe. It's something that was arrived at.
This saffron.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Your Grace, why do you feel that so many people are pulling away from the traditional religions in this country, such as Christianity and so forth, and going for the trying to understand the Eastern religions? We hear a lot of swamis and gurus and other type of yogi and so forth. Why do you feel that people are pulling away from the traditional Christian standards here?
But we see that the Christian churches, especially I have seen in London, mostly closed. People are not interested, or the Christian leaders, they cannot make them interested.
Why? Did Christianity fail the people, which is why they're turning to other things? Or?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. You say that Hare Krishna consciousness pretty much takes the absolute truths from the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, and the Vedic.
Yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Religion means to understand God.
I understand, but do you feel that in getting truths from various places like the Bible and the Quran and so forth, don't you run into conflicts at all or contradictions in those particular philosophies?
No, I don't find any conflict because the ultimate goal is God. So you have to understand God and try to love Him. So you can go through any religious process. If the goal is attained, that you understand what is goal, and you try to love Him, then your life is perfect.
Why do we see so many of your followers chanting almost all the time?
Chanting means to keep association with God always.
So you have to audibly chant Hare Krishna?
Yes. This is transcendental vibration. Just like a radio message, if you keep contact with the radio message, then you know everything what is going on outside. Similarly, this transcendental sound, Hare Krishna, if you chant, then you keep connection with God directly.
Thank you very much, Your Divine Grace. It's been our privilege to talk with you and to meet you.
Thank you.
And hope that we can see you again when you return.
Hare Krishna.
We'll be back with more news in just a moment.
Daiva tripting bhajata sadaiva. Daiva tripting bhajata sadaiva. Vande gurachi charanarabindam. Vande gurachi charanarabindam. Very much happy because these American boys are helping me. It is due to their cooperation the movement is spread all over the world.
Where will you go from here?
In America? What is the date I entered? In Hawaii?
She's asking where you will go after Dallas.
Where will you visit?
Oh, from Dallas I will go to New Virginia.
West Virginia.
West Virginia?
From there I shall go to London.
Are you pleased with the Krishna movement in the United States? Do you think it's growing?
What do you think?
I think it is. And this pleases you.
It is growing very fast.
Do you
Not
think...
only growing, but growing very fast. And the flowers of your country, the young generation, they are taking it very seriously. These boys, these girls, they are taking it very seriously.
Do you think that the children you see here will carry on?
We are creating another generation, Krishna conscious. So it will continue.
What does Krishna offer that some of the other religious beliefs of the world?
Krishna is God. So other religion who follow God consciousness, so there is no difference. It may be different some name, but religion means God consciousness. Without God consciousness, there is no religion.
And what does worshiping in your way, is it any better than worshiping in another way? Is it a more direct contact with Krishna?
Well, every way is nice, provided the followers are nice. Unfortunately, the principles are not followed. Just like in Christian religion, it is said, thou shalt not kill. But killing is very good thing here in the Christian world. Killing simply. So many slaughtered out. That is not Christian religion. But followers, they do not follow the rules and regulations. That is regretted. Otherwise, it is very nice. Our also principle is no meat eating. That means there is no killing of animals. Every religion says like that, but the followers do not follow.
The Krishna religion teaches that women are to be subservient to men always. Why?
The Krishna religion teaches that women should be subservient, should be subordinate to men. He's asking why.
Well, not should be, they are, by nature. What do you think, your position?
I don't believe in that, of course. I disagree.
But if voluntarily become subservient to a man, that is the nature.
Does that make them less of a being?
They are seeking to become subservient, attracting man. Take me as subservient. That is natural. Even psychologically, it is analyzed that the brain of man is up, they have seen up to 64 ounces, whereas the brain of woman, they have not found more than 36 ounces.
But women live longer than men.
Huh?
Women live longer than men.
Not necessarily.
So
yes,
we got you.
Sometimes. My grandmother lived about 100 years. My mom. So sometimes it happens.
Let's see, now
It is not restricted among women. There are men also.
how old is the movement?
But from historical point of view, it is about 5,000 years old.
Why has it just begun to really catch on in the Western world? I mean, just recently, in recent years, has it begun to sweep the Western world? Why is this?
The Western world, the younger generation were being frustrated, the hippie movement. So, when they saw something tangible, they accepted it.
What things would, if everyone in the United States believed in Krishna to the extent that you do, what would happen to this country? How would it be transformed?
They'll be very happy and peaceful. There will be no more hippies.
What would you describe as a hippie? Someone who smokes.
You know better than me. Something extraordinary.
How do you respond to this? How should people who follow your beliefs, how should they respond to other people who are criticizing them and for the way that they?
This criticism, you criticize me, I criticize you. That is going on. Even there is no change of grade. It is man's nature to become envious, to criticize others. That is material nature.
So you think that they're envious because they're criticizing?
Yes.
Because of the happiness that the people have?
Certainly. Sometimes they inquire, are you Americans? Because they never saw Americans so peaceful. And in the priests also, they very much appreciate. In Melbourne, the Bishop of Melbourne and the head of the Scottish Church and many church people, they very much appreciated, invited me and talked. In a society on the platform, San Francis, there were hundreds of fathers. The meeting was attended. I spoke for 1 hour, and they very much appreciated. I applauded for 10 minutes, and they accepted. And Reverend Powell, he gave declaration that we have no alarm from the Krishna movement.
Do you, this is your 3rd visit to Dallas, is that correct?
I think so.
3 or 4?
Third.
Why was Dallas selected as the point to establish the school? I believe this is the first school, isn't it, in the United States to be established? Why was Dallas particularly chosen for the school?
Krishna's choice.
Krishna's choice. He chose Dallas.
Yes, we got a nice house, and we accepted it. So it was Krishna's choice.
Where does the Krishna National or the International Krishna Organization get its funds? From simply donations? They've been criticized occasionally for being very wealthy.
Yeah, that is our reputation. Even in Indian Parliament, this question was raised. That these Hare Krishna people, fabulously rich, where they get money. Somebody suspected that we are getting bribes from American government. What is that, CIA? One should be killed. That is love.
Love means never killing?
There are so many things. It is one of the items. Yes, that is one. Do you kill your own son? Why? Because you love him.
Would you explain the other side of it? The fact that, of course, the Bhagavad Gita has its setting on a battlefield in which Krishna enjoins Arjuna.
That killing and poor animal who is supplying milk, you are drinking milk, your mother, and you are killing. This killing and that killing is not the same thing. According to Vedic civilization, the cow is to be given a special protection. Why? It is recommended for the cow. It does not say of other animals.
Srila Prabhupada, you are aware that they advanced the argument of mesmerization against chanting.
That's good. That's good. If you can mesmerize, that Dr. Judas admitted, that you can mesmerize the drug-addicted hippies and engage them in understanding Krishna. It's a great achievement. Yes.
It's not mesmerization.
Whatever it may be. Dr. Judas admitted. So, if mesmerization is for good, why not accept it? If it is for bad, then it is anything. If it is doing good, why not accept it? What do you think?
I don't know how to react. I think I agree with you.
If it is good, everything good should be accepted.
No problem. I keep wondering how you're so sure you know what good is, particularly when it comes to war. I would be a little more worried, I think, that...
what is that word?
Well, when you were telling that sometimes war is necessary, I should think that it's important to know how to decide when...
Well, necessary means you cannot expect in this material world all saintly persons. There are bad elements. So if a bad element comes to attack you, is it not your duty to fight and protect?
It just may be, though, that mine are the bad elements, and I keep thinking that other people are the bad elements.
Yeah.
That's right.
Even God has got this discrimination. He says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha duskita. There are bad elements. In God's mind there is good element, bad element. So we are part and parcel of God. We must have also the same sentiment. We cannot avoid it.
The body is not divided.
Yeah.
He's saying that when we say everything is part of God, the body is an exception. He says the body then is an exception. The body is not part of God?
No, why? Body is also part.
Yes, the body is also part.
Yeah, that's it. I explained.
Maya Shakti.
Yes, it is another energy.
I see.
Inferior energy.
Inferior energy.
Everything is God's energy. The body is also God's energy. The best use of the body is God's energy should be utilized for God. Then it is body spiritualized. Body is also God's energy. And if it is engaged in God's service, then the body is no more bad bargain. It is a good bargain. Sangsara davanandalira lokam Tadaya karuna ghana ghanatyam Prapta sakalana gunana vasha Bande gurasi charanarabindam
For a dedicated follower of the Vaishnava religious tradition, Vrindavan, India is the most sacred place on earth. In 1965, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada left the holy city of Vrindavan to deliver the message of Krishna consciousness to the Western countries. At the request of his spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada gave up his peaceful and contemplative life there in order to preach the most profound wisdom of ancient India to the rest of the world. No one could have imagined that in a few short years, Srila Prabhupada would have created a revolution in spiritual consciousness and become the Acharya, the spiritual teacher to so many people. He had founded the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, a worldwide confederation of over 100 ashrams, schools, temples, and farm communities, and had made the chanting of Hare Krishna familiar to millions of people. And he had written and published over 80 volumes of translation and commentary on self-realization, which are now standard in universities and libraries around the world. Srila Prabhupada circled the globe 11 times between 1966 and 1977, and he met countless political, social, and religious leaders in scores of countries on every continent. He would speak at great length, and often with considerable intensity on various subjects. During these discourses, Srila Prabhupada would turn the profound Vedic philosophy into a practical cutting edge that penetrated every sphere of life and thought. Srila Prabhupada taught that there can be no real peace or brotherhood in human society as long as we are murdering our brothers, the animals. Nature's laws of karma, action and reaction, ensure that violence is repaid with violence. In other words, as you sow, so shall you reap. Srila Prabhupada's views were always persuasive because they rested on systematic logic and sound philosophy. He once said, "Philosophy without religion is mental speculation, and religion without philosophy is sentimentality."
By example, it is necessary for la nourriture, food, for the food of man to eat.
Man can eat grains, food grains, fruits, milk, sugar, wheat.
Not pas de chair, pas de
no flesh.
No flesh.
No. Why? Just like the fruits. The fruits are meant for human beings.
Yes.
The tiger does not come to eat your fruits.
Yes.
So tiger's food is another animal. Man's food is fruit.
Yes, sir.
Food grain.
Yes, yes.
Milk product. It's like
it is why because grain and plants are also living beings.
That's all.
Living beings.
That we also understand.
Yes.
But if you can live just like generally, if I can live on food and grain and milk, why should I kill another animal?
Yes.
Another thing is that how can you suppose that animal killing is not sin?
Yes.
Comment justifier que tuer les animaux n'est pas péché?
Que les animaux n'est pas péché?
Que tuer
les animaux n'est pas péché?
How do you justify it?
Yes, because we thought that there is a difference of nature between life of man, life of spirit, and biological life. And we think that all the creation of animal and of plant is given by God to the man to help the man in order to realize his vocation. Himself, Your Grace, said that only the spirit is real beings, and the remain is appearance, and not really exists. And we think so. We think that animals, plants, are not real beings, are world of appearance, and that a human person only is real being. And that, in this sense, the material world is without importance.
Now, I follow. Suppose you are living in this house.
Yes.
So, you are not this house. That's a fact.
Yes, yes.
But if I come and break your house,
yes,
is it not inconvenience for you?
Yes, surely. Surely it is inconvenient.
So if I cause inconvenience unto you,
yes,
is it not criminal?
It is inconvenient to me, but is...
No. If I cause some inconvenience to you,
yes,
is it not criminal? Is it not sinful?
I think if there is a serious reason, it is not the destruction of the spiritual man himself. By example, it is perfectly possible to use of the reality of the material world, of the natural world, to the valuable finality of human vocation. We think that the question is a question of motivation. It could exist bad reason to kill an animal. But if the killing of animal is to give food to children, men, women, oui, ont faim, qui ont faim.
Actually.
Hungry. We are hungry. It is legitimate. We have. It is difficult to admit that il y a, comment dit-on, les vaches.
The cows.
Oui, cows. It is not permitted to kill a cow to give to children who are hungry
from any other consideration. Cow's milk we drink.
Yes.
Therefore she is mother.
Yes.
Is it not?
Elle dit qu'on boit le lait des vaches, et donc elle est notre mère, n'est-ce pas?
Oui, yes, surely. But
according to
yes,
Vedic version,
yes,
we have got 7 mothers. Adu Mata, the original mother.
Yes.
Guru Patni,
yes,
wife of the master, spiritual master.
Yes.
Can you understand? Et il dit que selon la vision védique, il existe 7 mères pour la femelle. D'abord, la mère maternelle, naturelle.
Adu Mata, Guru Patni, Brahmani, the wife of the priest.
Troisièmement,
Rajapatnika, the wife of king, the queen. 4. Adu Mata, Guru Patni, Brahmani, Rajapatnika. Dhenu means cow.
Yes.
Dhenu Dhatri means nurse. Tatha Prithi, Prithi means earth. These are 7 mothers.
Yes.
So, cow is mother because we drink milk, cow's milk.
Yes.
How can I deny that she is not mother?
Yes.
So how we can support killing of mother?
Yes, it is a motive, but we see that
therefore in India, those who are meat eaters, they are advised, that is also under restriction, advised to kill some lower animals, like goats, even up to buffalo. But cow killing is the greatest sin.
Yes. I know this. It is for us, a difficulty.
Yes, because cow is mother.
Yes, it is such.
You take the milk from the mother.
Yes.
And so when she is old, she cannot give you milk. Therefore she should be killed.
Yes.
Is that very good proposal?
Est-ce que c'est une bonne proposition que quand la vache devient trop vieille pour donner du lait, on la tue?
Oui.
He says yes. He says yes, it is a good proposition.
If the men are hungry, it is the life of men is more important than the life of cow.
Therefore, because we are propagating this Krishna consciousness,
yes,
we ask people to not to eat meat, any kind.
Yes.
But if under certain circumstances you are obliged to eat meat,
yes,
eat the flesh of some lower animals.
Yes.
Don't kill cows. It is the greatest sin.
Yes.
And so long one will be sinful, he will not be able to understand what is God.
Yes.
But human beings, main business is to understand God and to love Him.
Yes.
But if he remains sinful, neither he can understand God and what is the question of loving.
Yes.
Therefore, at least from the human society, this cruel maintenance of slaughterhouses must be stopped.
Il dit que parce que il est recommandé dans les écrits védiques que si on doit manger de la viande, c'est mieux de tuer des animaux inférieurs à la vache. Et donc ces abattoirs qui existent actuellement doivent être fermés si on veut avancer l'espèce humaine.
I think that perhaps this is not an essential point. I think that in this realm the uses of various religions can be good. The important is to love God, but the commandment practical can be various.
That's like God If God says that you can do this, that is not sin. But if God says that you cannot do it, then it is sin. That is our pleasure. Isavasamidam sarvam. Everything belongs to God. That's it, man. Under the influence of Maya, we are thinking, and this is my fault. Just like, suppose this cushion, where from the wood has come? Has anybody produced wood? Who has produced? It is God's property. Is it not? You are a barrister, you can judge better.
That was the argument he used.
No, it wasn't about like that. Originally everything belongs to God. So why you are claiming it is my fault? One must know the property is ours. That is the real knowledge. Now, whatever Father has given me, I will use it. Why shall I encroach upon my other brother, which he has got from his father? This is good sense. Why shall I fight with my other brother? My father has given him this property to him, so let him use that. And whatever he has given me, let me use it. Why shall I encroach upon his property?
I can understand. I'm sorry. I can understand when you say don't encroach on other people's property. And I think if I understand you correctly, what you're saying is that if you have something, your father has given you something, and someone else wants to use it, well, let him. I can understand that, but don't you get to the stage, or can't you get to the stage at times, that for some reason or other, you don't want him to use it?
We are believing that everything belongs to God. If someone else does not believe in that concept and tries to use what we...
That is wrong. That I say. That is the wrong concept.
Well, how do you reconcile, or how do you work out a situation? If everything belongs to God, we have to run society.
But you don't forget that everything belongs to God. Because you have to run society, it does not mean that you forget the real thing.
Look, so I really don't object to that idea at all. But the thing is that the system we're working within has got different concepts.
You should be rectified.
We should be sorry?
Rectified.
The system should be rectified.
First thing is that everyone should be convinced or understand clearly that everything belongs to God. But they have no conception of God. That is the whole human society at the present moment. Majority, they is God less, especially the communists. They don't acknowledge the scientists, the philosophers, the scholars, all godless.
But you can't say that scientists are working in a way that is opposite to God's will.
Oh yes, I have met many scientists. They say that we shall solve everything by scientific advancement. We have done already. They say like.
But just because they are...
Like there is a big theory, chemical theory, one big scientist, big or small, whatever he may be. He has got a Nobel Prize.
It's medium-sized.
Huh?
It's medium-sized.
Yeah. He is making the theory, the life has come from chemical. The chemical coming. Chemical evolution. Darwin's theory is also that. This is the big scientists. They are so full that life has come from matter. Where is the proof?
It's not a very
He was
good...
lecturing in California University, and there was one student, his mind disciple. He challenged him that if you get the chemicals, whether you can manufacture life. That answer was, that I cannot say. Why? You are putting this theory that life has come from chemical. So science means observation and experiment. Now, we experimentally prove, get the chemicals and produce a life.
They're trying.
That is another business. When you are trying to be a lawyer or barrister, that does not mean you are barrister. When you are a student of law, you cannot say that I am barrister or I am. You cannot say. You are trying to be, that is another.
Well, that's what they're trying.
But while they are trying to be, they are taking the position of leader. That is the misleading. That is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Andhadatham dhairupuniyama. One blind man is trying to lead many other blind men. What is the use of such leading?
But can't you have people doing good for the sake of goodness?
He does not know what is good.
But there are certain things.
That's why I say blind.
There are certain things which intrinsically are good.
Real goodness is to understand God. That is real good.
But there are certain things that you don't, that are good, that you can accept as being good, just by themselves. You see an old lady who gets run over by a car. You go and help her. Now, there are certain things that are good by themselves, I think, and that people will react and do the good thing, even though they mightn't have any concept of God.
No. Unless you have got the real platform, how you can do good? Just like our Madhudini Maharaj was realized to you, they have done some good legal affair. But unless you are a lawyer, legal man, how can you do it? You have a mind to do good. But if you are not a lawyer, how could you do?
But there would be a lot of lawyers that do good
That
without God.
I am talking of yourself. If one does not know what is good, then how will do good? The first business is that he must know what is good. Then he can do something good. Otherwise, what is the use of jumping like monkey? So therefore, anyone who is posing himself as leader to do good to the society, he must know, first of all, what is good. But you should see whether you are successful. And what is the standard of success? The standard of success is whether you have pleased God. You read this?
What is it?
Atah pungbi dijasreshta.
Atah
pungbi.
Atah pumbir dvijasreshta.
Find out the word.
Atah pumbir dvijasreshta. Karnashiram Vigbhagjaha Jvanus Isyasya Dharmasya Samsiddhi Haritosanam. O best among the twice-born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging his prescribed duties, dharma, according to caste divisions and order of life, is to please the Lord, Hari.
That is it. That should be it. So, whether by my profession, by my business, by my talent, by my capacity, there are different categories. Whether I have pleased God, then it is success. India is still, if one has a very good garden and flowers, if somebody goes, sir, I want to take some flowers from your garden for worshipping God. Yes, you can take. They will be very glad.
This man, his livelihood depended on those flowers, and I think his possessions were more important to him, unfortunately.
It's a funny story. There's a funny follow-up to that one, and that is that the flowers were taken from two men that ran nurseries, and we had to go through an appeal finally to get home. But just before the appeal came on, the boys needed a glass house because they've got special plants which you've got outside here. And they didn't know anything about glass houses, so they're driving around. And one said, well, let's go and find out something about glass houses. Oh, there's a nice nursery. So the car drives up, you see. Devotee goes out, and he said, excuse me, sir, but we're interested in glass houses. He said, will you please get out of my land? Say nursery. Out of 200 nurseries around the area, he picked that particular one.
The Shastri Bhakti Bhagavati Akinchana Sarvai Gunai Tattva Samasati Sura Harava Bhaktasya Kuto Mahadaguna Manorathena Asato Dhavatu Vayi. The meaning is that anyone who is God conscious, devotee, he has got all the good qualities. What we consider as good qualities, he has got. And similarly, one who is not a devotee of God, he has no good quality. Because he will hover on the mental platform. There are different platforms. Bodily concept of life, Jana, and this body. Therefore, my business is to satisfy the senses. This is bodily concept of life. And others, they are thinking, I am not this body, I am mind. Well, they are going on mental speculation, like philosophers, thoughtful men. And above that, there is intelligent class of men practicing some yoga. And spiritual platform is above that. First bodily concept, gross, then mental, then intellectual, then spiritual. So this Krishna consciousness movement is on the spiritual platform, above body, mind and intelligence. But actually we should come to that platform because we are spirit soul. We are neither this body, nor this mind, nor this intelligence. So one who is on the platform of spiritual consciousness, they have got everything, intelligence, proper use of mind, proper use of the body. Everything is there. He must be at the same time, although he is hero, he must be generous. Just like Alexander the Great, perhaps you know the story, he arrested one thief. So when he was arrested and he was being judged by Alexander, the thief pleaded that what is the difference between you and me? You are a great thief, I am a small thief. So Alexander understood it and got him released. This is generosity. He must agree to the principle.
Well, there's another one, the battle. Remember the big battle where the opposition, what was his name, was on the ground, and he said...
Abhimanyu was surrounded by the Maharathis. There was no mercy then. So now Karna was objecting that you cannot shoot a man if he gets off his chariot. And Krishna said there was no mercy with Abhimanyu, so therefore there will be no mercy now.
Tit for tat.
But where was the generosity then?
Then what that is happening? Tit for tat.
Was that generosity?
Huh?
Where was the generosity?
That
just times, Wally, surely. There's times today.
That is war tactics. That is war tactics.
He's going to bring some prasadam for you.
Give some prasadam for them.
Yeah. We invited everyone over to Ukashrava's house one night. We had a big party, and Wally came and Raymond came, and they became very much addicted to prasadam.
Praptasya kalana gunana vasha Bande Gura Sri Charanarabindam.
Srila Prabhupada, people often ask. At various times he was known as a scholar, a philosopher, a cultural ambassador, a prolific author, a religious leader, a spiritual teacher, a social critic, and a holy man. He was not one of those modern entrepreneurial gurus who come to the West with slickly packaged, watered-down versions of Eastern spirituality, promising instant well-being to anyone who could spare $50. Srila Prabhupada was rather a true holy man, one who could be called an Acharya, which means a spiritual master who teaches by example. After arriving in the United States in 1965 at the age of 69, Srila Prabhupada formed the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, which developed into a worldwide spiritual community with hundreds of ashrams, schools, temples, and farms, and with thousands of dedicated disciples who made Hare Krishna a household word. To have achieved all this in only 12 years was remarkable. But before he passed away from this world in 1977, Srila Prabhupada had also written and published over 80 volumes of translation and commentary on the great spiritual classics of ancient India. His books were welcomed with great critical acclaim by the Western academic community and by scholars from India as well, and they became standard texts in almost every university and library around the world. Srila Prabhupada had also succeeded in transmitting the profound wisdom of the ancient Vedic culture in a form and style that was clearly understandable to the average modern man. He could somehow explain even the most difficult philosophical concepts to people who were totally unfamiliar with the complex Indian religious tradition. Srila Prabhupada circled the globe 11 times between 1966 and 1977, and everywhere he went, he taught the same basic truths, the fundamental principles of religion that constitute the cornerstone of spiritual understanding for everyone, no matter what their nationality or religion. Srila Prabhupada was, more than anything, a teacher, a professor emeritus of the science of self-realization. And he was the best kind of teacher, because he always lived up to what he taught.
They also say that no one can ever be pure, that everyone is doomed to be a sinner.
That is Atmavat Mannate Jagat. That is the conditioned soul's qualification, that he is a fool, he thinks other fools. Everyone, he thinks he is like me. So that is nature. Atmavat Mannate Jagat. Everyone thinks others like himself. If he's a fool, he thinks all are. So these things are no argument. Nobody has seen God. How do you take the statistics? Can you say like that, any statistics that nobody has? Maybe you have not seen him or has seen God. That is quite possible because you have not scrutinizingly studied all the men of the world.
Yes.
Then how you can say nobody has seen? You have not seen the man who has seen him.
So the man
he will not admit his fault. He will accuse others. Nobody has seen that. Why? You may not have seen, but why you say nobody has seen? You have not seen that person who has seen God. Therefore you say like that. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jashodanandana Bradajana Ranjana Jashodanandana Bradajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha गिरिवरधारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीर बनचारी यमुना तीर बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी भगवान की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय रामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवाचार्य गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री राधा कृष्ण मोह गोपनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय नवदीप धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय जमुना माई की जय गुरु द्वारका धाम की जय स्वामी तो भक्तविंद की जय ऑल ग्लोरी टू देयर ऑल ग्लोरी टू देयर थैंक यू वेरी मच ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय The child is changing his body to baby, the baby is changing his body to boy, and the boy is changing his body to youthhood. Then, in this way you are changing body. That you have got experience. You had a child's body, you remember. Or you had a boy's body, you remember. But the body is no longer existing. But you are existing. Therefore, the conclusion is that when this body will be no more fit for existing, we shall have to accept another body. This is called tatha dehantara prapti. So we have to change. That is nature's law. The soul is immortal. Na jayate na amriyate va kadachit. Na hannate hannamane sarire. The soul is not finished. Simply a particular type of body being finished. No. The people do not know it. And because they are simply engaged in sinful activities, their brain has... But unfortunately, I am thinking this is American pains and pleasure. This is Indian pains. Pains and pleasure is the same. Yes. It is neither American nor African. Pains and pleasure is the same. So, as soon as this consciousness that I am feeling American pains, American pleasure, as soon as this is over, then we come to the original consciousness. Because consciousness cannot be American or African. If I pinch you, the pain felt by you is the same when I pinch the African. Yes. So therefore the consciousness is the same. Artificially we are thinking that American consciousness, African consciousness. Actually, that is not the position. Simply, this misunderstanding has to be cleared out. That is called Chetadarpana Marjana. Is it not a fact?
Oh yes, sure.
The consciousness of feeling pains and pleasure, can it be American or Indian?
No.
No, it is the same. Artificially, we are thinking it is American pain or it is Indian pain. That is artificial. This artificial covering has to be removed. Then we come to Krishna consciousness. Feelings, consciousness is not American, African or Indian. Consciousness is the same. When you feel hungry, is that Americans feel a different way hungry? And the African feels in a different way. The hungry appetite is the same. Now if you say this is American appetite and this is Indian appetite, that is artificial. So when you do not go to the artificial platform, that is Krishna consciousness. That is explained in Narad Pancharatra. Sarvapadhi vinirmuktam tatparattena nirmanam. Rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktirischa. When we become free from these artificial designations, American consciousness, Indian consciousness, African consciousness, there is no such thing. This is artificial. Even bird and beast, they also feel consciousness, pains and pleasure. Just like when there is scorching heat, you feel some pain. Is that American, Indian or African? Scorching heat is every feeling. If you say that I am feeling scorching heat American way, क्यों जी?
हाँ जी।
ऐसा हो सकता है?
नहीं हो सकता।
ये तो simply these are artificial. And everything is depending on consciousness. Everything depending on consciousness. Therefore, Krishna consciousness is the original standard consciousness. The big airship 747 is flying because the pilot is there. And the pilot is a soul, powered by another bodily machine. That is missing point in the modern civilization. Who is working with the machine? That they do not know. That is ignorance. It is said, you see Bhagavad Gita, Ishara sarvabhutanam riddeshe arjuna tisthati, Brahman sarvabhutani jantrarurani maya. Jantra means machine. Actually they are finding that a big, nice machine, computer, without an operator it does not work. And this huge machine is working without any spiritual touch. Just see how foolishness. They think automatically working. Nature is working automatically. Do they not think?
They think there's a mind, but not a soul.
No, that's all right. Something is there which is working. Now that may be mistake. You call it soul and mind, that is next understanding. But the machine is not working independently. That should be understood first. Then how the machine is working, that will be next chapter. So they have no understanding even how the machine is working. Tatra na bhijanati mame param apayam. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharaja. That they do not know, Muraj. So if you do not know how the machine is working, then what is the value of your education? Education means enlightenment. You do not know what is the final cause. The huge body is working as nature. So many planets, so many big planets like sun, moon, they are floating in the air. And who has made this arrangement? There we see every day. And everyone is speculating. It is being done like this. Another philosopher comes, he does, it is like this. Another says, it is like this. Naso nijjasya matang na bhinnam. A philosopher is not a great philosopher if he does not defy the other philosopher. Is it not? So this process is going on. I defy you, you defy me, that's all. But what is the real fact? Neither you know, neither I know. But we write big articles. That is going on. Just like this finger is part and parcel of my body. Whatever I am ordering, it is immediately carrying out. I say, make it like this, it will do. So, but this is dead matter. It is acting mechanically. The brain directs immediately the finger and attack, like machine. This whole body is just like machine. But soul is not machine, mechanical part. It is spiritual part. So therefore, as I am directing the finger, as being machine it is working. But if somebody else, a friend or servant, I may direct him to do something, he may not do it. So when the soul misuses the independence, then he falls down. That is material life. Material life means misusing the independence of soul. Just like a son's duty is to obey the father. But he may not obey. That is his madness. So when this soul, misusing the independence, becomes mad, he is sent in this material world.
It seems puzzling to me that one would be so foolish.
Because by independence you can become foolish. Otherwise there is no meaning of independence. Independence means you can do whatever you like. That is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, that Jathechasi tatha kuru. Find out this verse in the 18th chapter. That independence is there. After instructing the whole Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, Krishna gave him the independence. Now, whatever you like, you can do. Krishna never forced him to accept the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. He gave him the independence. Now, whatever you like, you can do. And he agreed. Yes, now my illusion is over. I shall act, as you say. The same independence. Yeah?
This is in the 18th chapter.
Thus I have explained to you the most, the Sanskrit first?
Yeah.
Iti te jnanam akyatam guya guyataram maya virishyaitar asheshena yate chasi tata kuru. Thus I have explained to you the most confidential of all knowledge. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do.
Yeah. Now, if you say, why this whole should become so foolish, so that is misuse of independence. An intelligent father has got intelligent son, but sometimes he becomes a fool. So, what is the reason? That he is this part and parcel of the father. He should have become exactly like the father, but he does not become like the father. I have seen in Allahabad, the big lawyer, barrister, Mr. Banerjee, his eldest son was also a barrister, and his youngest son, on account of bad association, he became a kawala. A kawala means, in India, there is a carriage drawn by one horse. So, he liked to be an ekala. That means he fell in love with a low-class woman, and by her association, he became an ekala. There are many instances. Therefore, it is the duty of the human being how to control the mind, not act like cats and dogs. That is human being. He should be inquisitive. Why this happening? Why this happening? And he should take education. That is human life. And if he does not inquire, if he does not take education, then what is the difference between him and the dog? He remains a dog. He has got this opportunity of human life. He should take advantage of understanding what is what. Not to keep himself in the dog status, simply eating, sleeping, sex life and defending. That is the distinction between dog and human being. If he does not become inquisitive, how to control the mind? He is not even human being. And dog never inquires. Dog knows that when I bark, people become disturbed. He will never ask how to control this barking habit. Because he is dog. He cannot do that. A human being can do that. People hate me. I do something wrong. How to control my mind? That is human being. That is the difference between human being and dog. That's what Vedic injunction is. Go and inquire. You have got this human form of life. Athata Brahma Jigyasa. Now this is the time for inquiring about the soul. Tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva avigachet. If you want to understand this science, then go to proper guru and take lessons from him. The same thing as we instruct our children, if you want to be educated in the higher status of life, go to school, go to college, take lessons. That is human society. The dog's father will never ask the dog, child, go to school. No, they're dogs.
Hello, I'm Sid Hunter, here at the Srila Prabhupada Museum in Los Angeles. Over the past several years, I've had the good fortune of being the editor of ITV's acclaimed Acharya series. In a few minutes, you'll be seeing the Acharya Part 5, another wonderful collection of documentary film clips that provide us with an intimate glimpse into the remarkable personality of that great visionary and spiritual teacher, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. But sadly, this will be the final show in the Acharya series. The film segments that you're about to see represent the very last remaining 16mm sound synchronized material in our collection of intimate footage of Srila Prabhupada. All of us at ITV feel honored to have participated in the production of the entire series, and we extend our heartfelt thanks to Yadabara Das and his wife Vishaka Dasi, who gave us so much of the original footage that was used to compile these shows. Certainly everyone who personally knew and loved Srila Prabhupada will appreciate the opportunity to rekindle and relish the sublime memory of his presence. And for those who never met Srila Prabhupada in person, we hope that these rare, all too brief moments will serve as an inspiration to learn more about his saintly personality and his teachings. At the ripe old age of 69, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, boarded an Indian steamship bound for America. Like so many who have come before, he arrived with only a few dollars, a couple of battered trunks, and a dream. But his was not the usual dream of freedom, fame, or fortune. Srila Prabhupada had a bold vision for the re-spiritualization of the entire Western world. He sought to transform the predominantly material consciousness of the West by transplanting the ancient religious traditions of India, first to America and then throughout the world. The seeds that this elderly saffron-robed holy man planted took immediate root and blossomed into an international spiritual movement that profoundly influenced the lives of millions of people. In just 12 years, from 1965 until he passed away in 1977, Srila Prabhupada circled the globe some 14 times, preaching, gathering disciples, and opening hundreds of centers for the study and practice of Krishna consciousness. In that time, he also managed to write and publish over 80 volumes of translation and commentary on the sacred texts that form the basis of Indian religious and philosophical thought, winning lavish praise from the academic community for his dedicated scholarship and profound insight. Today, his books are available in over 30 languages and are being printed at the phenomenal rate of 20 million copies a year. All of Srila Prabhupada's accomplishments were the result of his single-minded determination to make the science of self-realization both understandable and achievable, even in a world increasingly consumed by material values. By his tireless preaching, such fundamental spiritual concepts as vegetarianism, karma, and reincarnation have become widely understood and accepted. But Srila Prabhupada's struggle against all odds to establish a spiritual beachhead in the Western world is more than just a tribute to his fierce and vigorous resolve. His remarkable success was in great part due to an engaging personal warmth, a rare blend of deep moral strength and quiet humility that inspired both reverence and affection. Srila Prabhupada succeeded because his life and personality were the epitome of the ideal he set forth for others to follow. He could offer to everyone he met, not just a theory, but a practical way of living. At every moment, he was a true Acharya, a holy man who teaches others by example.
That is our motto. Krishna is sun. You know? Krishna Surya Sama. So when Krishna sun is there, all these glowworms, lightning, will be finished. Keep this sun always shining. Then these glowworms will be finished.
Newspaper article in the papers. I was reading, they were advertising a new book about the evolution of man, and they were saying that there was approximately 2 million varieties of.
Dr. Myers finds that he's chanting Hare Krishna a little in the shower now. When he takes a shower, he chants a little now.
One press reporter in the Berkeley University in the beginning, he wrote his article and he read that after hearing this Hare Krishna for a few minutes, I came home chanting all the road Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So when we conquer over these base qualities, then we become happy. Tadarajastamo bhava kama lobha dayasthaje cheta iti anavidhyam. When the consciousness is not influenced by these base qualities, cheta iti sthita sati prasidati. Being situated on the platform of Satagun, he feels happy. That is the beginning of spiritual life. When so long the mind is disturbed by lusty desires and greediness, there is no question of spiritual life. Therefore, the first business is how to control the mind so that it may not be influenced by the base quality, lusty desires and greediness. We have seen in Paris, old man, 75 years old, is going to the nightclub because the lusty desire is there. He pays $50 for entering the club, and then he pays further for other things. So even he is 75 years old, the lusty desire is there.
Fall out of the spiritual sky at once or at different times, or are there any souls that are always good, they're not foolish? They don't
No, there are majority, 90%, they're always good. They never fall down.
So we're among the 10%?
Yeah.
Or
less than that. In the material, whole material world, all the living entities, they're just like in the prison house. There are some population, but they are not majority. The majority of the population, they are outside the prison house. Similarly, majority of living beings, part and parcel of God, they are in the spiritual world. Only a few falls down.
Does Krishna know ahead of time that a soul is going to be foolish and fall?
Krishna? Yes, Krishna may know, because he is omniscient.
Are more souls falling all the time?
Not all the time, but there is the tendency of fall down. Not for all, but because there is independence. Everyone is not liking to misuse the independence. The same example. It's like a government constructing a city and construct also prison house. Because the government knows that somebody will be criminal. So their shelter must be also constructed. It is very easy to understand. Not that 10% population will be criminal. But government knows that some of them will be. Otherwise, why they construct prison house also? One may say, where is the criminal you are constructing? The government knows, no, there will be criminal. So if the ordinary government can know, why God cannot know? Because there is tendency.
The origin of that tendency is?
Yes.
From where does that tendency
Tendency means the independence. So, everyone can know that independence means one can use it properly, one can misuse it. That is independence. Therefore, it is the duty of the human being how to control the mind. Not act like cats and dogs. That is human being. He should be inquisitive. Why this happening? Why this happening? And he should take education. That is human life. That is the difference between human being and dog. That's what Vedic injunction is. Go and inquire. you have got this human form of life. Tathata Brahma Jigyasa. Now this is the time for inquiring about the soul. Tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva avigachet. If you want to understand this science, then go to proper guru and take lessons from him. The same thing as we instruct our children. If you want to be educated in the higher status of life, go to school, go to college, take lessons. That is human society. The dog's father will never ask the dog, child, go to school. No, they are dogs. Come. The hippies are dissatisfied with the method of modern materialistic way of life. Is it not? Therefore,
they have given away their possessions and they have chosen to
voluntarily they're giving up possessions.
Latest report from the Chicago Daily News.
because they had already given up material possessions and so they were prepared.
No, they are misguided. They want to have something new, but they are not accepting what is actually better. Some of them are accepting. But there is frustration, there is no doubt.
There is no doubt.
Frustration.
Frustration.
Yes. This way of materialistic way of life, like their fathers, grandfathers, they do not like. Is it not? Huh?
I think so. Yes.
In Los Angeles, do you live in richness? Do you have a car and a chauffeur and a yacht?
I'm the guru of the richest country. Why shall I not have car? Do you follow?
No, I don't.
If I am guru of the richest country, then why shall I not have a car?
So you have one?
I have many. In each center I have got at least 12 cars. Just now I am coming from Europe, Germany. They have got 19 vans. 19. They go interior villages. The Volkswagen, what is called?
Volkswagen bus.
Bus, yes. So our devotees are packed up in each bus and they go interior in the village. Similarly, in every center you have got. In Germany, in England, in Los Angeles, in New York. Here also?
Yes. There's 9 vehicles here.
Huh?
9 vehicles.
Just see.
9 vehicles in Chicago?
Yes.
Some spiritual leaders of various groups live in great richness with a chauffeur and expensive cars and boats.
Yes.
What about you?
Because I know you are envious, therefore I don't sit here. I am sitting here. You are very envious when a spiritual master is honored very nicely by his disciples. You become envious. What can be done? But that is the etiquette. The spiritual master is honored as good as God. But if people you do not know, you become envious. Why this man is sitting in this position, in this gorgeous way? Why? What can be done?
Are you honored as good as God?
Yes. Srila Prabhupada is the most exalted personality on the earth, so he must be honored in the highest fashion.
No, that is the injunction. Just sat prasadat, What is that verse? Sakshad haritvena samasta shastri ruktas tatha bhavata eva sadvi kintu prabhuja priya eva tasya. Spiritual master should be honored as good as God. That is the injunction of the scripture. But the tailor, according to the body, made a covering of this hand, and this looks like a hand. This covering of the chest looks like a chest. Therefore, the impersonal means the material covering. Otherwise, spirit soul is person. Just like you go to the tailor, according to your body, the tailor will cut a coat. This coat, ingredients of the coat, the cloth, that is impersonal. But it is made like a person, covering of the person. In other words, the spirit soul is person. As much as God is also person. Imperson means the covering. Try to understand. The covering is impersonal, not the living being who is covered. He is not impersonal, he is person. Very simple example. The coat shirt is impersonal, but the man who is putting on coat and he is not impersonal. He is person. So, how God can be impersonal? The material energy is impersonal. That is explained. That is explained in the Bhagavad-Gita. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat abhaktamurti. This jagat is abhakta, impersonal. And that is also energy of Krishna. Therefore he says, I am expanded in the impersonal form. That impersonal feature is Krishna's energy. So the material covering is impersonal, but the spirit soul or the super soul is person. Any question in this? This very intricate question. Anyone?
I will have to sign that.
This payment, Book Trust has paid.
Yes.
To me.
Yes.
But that is my money, not your money.
Yes.
I am paying you.
Yes.
It has been simply sent through you.
Transfer.
Transfer. But actually Book Trust is not paying to me.
No. No.
So under the circumstance, what is the account?
What
that
is?
You are debiting that paid to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami.
I have written it as a transfer because your Divine Grace told me you were going to give me these certified checks.
Oh.
But I can do it another way. If you do not want to deposit the checks with us, I will write it as a donation to some project in India. Whatever the money will be used for, I can simply make it a donation.
Donation, that's all right. But you are not donating, you are taking payment.
Only if you want.
No. You give me a statement, if not many months, at least in this month, what is the receipt and how it is spent and what is the balance.
For this account in India?
No. Every month you give me a statement.
Of BBT?
Yes. So much receipt, so much spent.
Oh yes, I can do that. Every month?
Every month.
No problem. I am doing that already and sending a full report to Bhagavan and Hansaduta each month.
So you can give me one copy.
Yes, I never did before because I didn't want to disturb you with details.
No details. Give me this. I love to also keep a record. So you can, for transfer, receive the check.
Yes.
Is that all right?
Yes.
I am giving in favor of DBT.
Yes.
And you...
We are acting like your bank.
Huh?
We are at BBT is acting like your bank.
Yes, that's it. That is it. Yeah. There is no sufficient man or they are not working. Otherwise there is tremendous market. I did it personally. When I was alone, I was selling this Bhagavad. All the school, college have it very, with great delight they were taking. And then I've got standing order of the American embassy, 18 copies of each book as soon as it's published. The same standing order. But these people are not doing that. India management is very...
So for the time being, the money will not be used for the construction in Mayapur. It will be used to print books.
Mayapur, they have already taken 1.5 lakh from me.
Now Gopal Krishna in India requested that BBT give him a loan of $160,000 in India just during the Mayapur festival. He requested a loan from a US BBT for $160,000, which would be used to construct the second residence building.
How will you pay back?
His plan was that the American temples would purchase rooms, and over a period of 4 or 5 years, they would pay that money back. So is that still approved by you, by your Divine Grace?
Yes, I know that.
The only thing is that we will have to delay the loan, because for the next 3 months, all our money will be used to print these 17 books.
Fastable books, then loan. However, we cannot hold up printing, that is not possible. This you must always keep in view. We are not going to, the surplus money we are going to pay. Not that at the cost of stopping printing. You must always keep it. When you require money for printing, there is no question of loan or temple bill. This will be our
says, how would we react if someone breaks in and tries to rob the building?
Rob?
A thief. What would we do if a thief came in? In other words, would we be
Thief
violent?
came in, you shall punish him.
You shall be violent?
Why not? A thief should be punished.
You would punish yourself? What would you do? Would you start attacking him?
No. Ourselves or anyone, a thief is to be punished. A thief has to be punished. Ourselves or yourself, it doesn't matter. A thief is thief. He should be punished.
What if he breaks in because he's hungry?
Who breaks?
He says, what if he breaks in because he's hungry? What if he becomes in as a thief because he wants something?
But we said everyone come and eat. Why he should remain hungry? We invite everyone, come here, eat. No charge. We don't charge. So why should remain hungry? Let us increase this program. All hungry men of Melbourne city, come here, take your eating, sumptuous. Invite, come on. Why you should remain hungry?
The minister is elected according to public will in our society.
Because they have made a department just like your, what is the department?
Social welfare.
Social welfare. So if they find social welfare, why not help? Why they bring politics? If actually there is social welfare here, why they should not support it?
Yeah, well, you're right. But in our society, minister is elected to carry out certain policies. Not what he wants, but what the people sort of voted for. And they are taxed to support.
And if your policy is social reformation,
social reform is not our policy.
Then social welfare.
So just to look after those who are in trouble. That's our policy.
Well, everyone is in trouble.
What?
At the present moment, even the ministers are in trouble.
Yes, but that is not what our function is. Everybody's in trouble.
Physician, heal thyself. You see? They are also drunkards, they are also woman hunters, and meat eaters, and gambling, that's all. They require to be rectified.
But we can't help that. That's society. You have to go and change society. Then society tells us to act
But
differently.
unless you change the society, how you can make social welfare?
Well, it's a
If you
different
keep them as it is, there is the question of welfare.
give it a different interpretation to the word.
How this, I don't...
Does you understand me?
Basically, one must be first class ideal man. That is one.
That's why it's so very difficult. You have to work on your own and always have to see that you have freedom to work. And if you convince enough people to go your way.
Our own program, it is not box properly. You find out fault with us.
What?
You find out what is our fault.
I can't see any fault.
Then you can disagree. But when you see everything is nice, how you will not accept it? Unless you are biased.
Of course I'm biased. I've been brought up differently.
Yes. That's like our...
So does you're biased against my life?
No, we are not biased. We
You say I'm
that just
sinning.
like we are not biased, we are allowing. We say that if you want to be first class man, then you must not commit sinful activities. That is our problem.
But I as a public servant, I'm not here to change society.
Well,
Society
we are also
tells me
public.
what to do.
We belong to the public. You must become our servant also.
What?
We are public, members of the public.
Yeah.
So you should become our servant also, if you are public servant.
A public servant is, in our philosophy, is a man who serves the minister elected by the people. And this way he serves the public.
Yeah.
And what the public decides is something different.
Just like we are proposing here, I am not proposing, Krishna says, that one must be peaceful. How to become peaceful? if his mind is always disturbed, how he can become peaceful?
Quite right.
So that is the secret of success. You want to make people peaceful, but you do not know how to make him peaceful.
Yeah.
So therefore you have to adopt this.
You have a competitive society.
Yeah. We say that you chant Hare Krishna, eat here sumptuously, live here comfortably, and you become peaceful. It is guaranteed. If anyone, even a madman, agrees to this principle, that let him chant Hare Krishna mantra, take whatever nice food stuff we prepare, take, and live peacefully. He will be peaceful.
What's your answer that still such a small percentage of the population, a tiny percentage of the population, accept a philosophy that sounds so
tiny percentage, just like there are so many stars in the sky, and there is one moon. In percentage, the moon is nothing. If you take percentage of the stars, the moon is nothing. But moon is important than all the nonsense stars. But because he is moon, he is important than all these rascal stars. This is the example.
Yeah, well,
what is the use of taking percentage of the stars in the presence of moon? Let there be one moon, that is sufficient. There is no question of percentage. One ideal man. Just like in Christian world, one ideal Jesus Christ.
How do you feel about Mao Zedong?
Huh? What is that?
He says, how do you feel about Mao Zedong?
In China, he's the ideal man.
He's a communist.
His ideal is all right.
In China, he is.
His ideal, communist idea, that everyone should be happy. That is good idea. But they do not know how to make it. Just like they are taking care of the human being in this state, but they are sending poor animals to this level. Because they are godless. They do not know the animal is also a living being and the human being also a living being. So for the satisfaction of the tongue of the human being, the animal should be cut through.
But that's how it is.
So what can we do? Then hopeless.
Oh, you can work on the
So
ground.
we are going without depending on this rascal. We are going on. We are publishing our books, we are making our movement, we are honestly trying, that's all.
Yeah.
Dr. Gerson has promised that he'll read every single one of your books before he writes his book. He's very
That's
serious.
very kind of. We have got about 50 books.
He knows.
And it is increasing. Perhaps in the next 2 months it will increase another 17 books.
When the person came first, he was doing some drugs or some nonsense. And now that he's taken the Krishna consciousness, he has become so much more of a healthy and wholesome person.
That is the test.
That is the test.
That is the real test. How we got so many devotees from the hippie group. So how they have given up all their bad habits. This is the real test.
So the function of his testing is to show that that change takes place in a way that other scientists will accept it. That is his purpose.
Oh, that's nice. And that is already admitted by educated class. Therefore they are becoming attractive.
Well, there are still many who aren't familiar with the movement, and I hope to familiarize
But
them.
I say that even there is something wrong, it is not impediment. They are making propaganda that these American devotees, they are CIA. This propaganda is very strong in India, making the people against these American boys who are preaching.
I would like to show them a path so that they won't be cheated any longer.
Provided you know the path.
I'm trying to learn.
So first of all, learn it. Otherwise you'll be cheating. If you do not know the art, and if you want to do some benefit to the others, then that is cheating. Suppose a physician, he does not know what is the medical science, and if he wants to become a physician, that is cheating. Quack.
I hope through the study that I'm doing with the devotees and the books that comes out of it that it will help them not be cheated any longer and show them the right way.
Yeah.
He's advising his patients that they should chant Hare Krishna and come to the temple.
Then is then you are friend.
Another thing I would like to do is go to Gurukul and test the children and show what NBC did was very false and unfair.
The television, they did a very bad story on Gurukula.
Yes, then they cheated. He wants to cheat and get some money. That's all.
He wants to
because the whole so-called human society is combination of cheater and cheated. So anyone who is acting without Krishna consciousness is a cheater. And anyone who is thinking himself advanced without Krishna consciousness is cheater. This is the basic principle. I mean Krishna consciousness, not consciousness.
Saradhavanalilaloka Tarayakaruna Ghanaganatyam Praptasya Kallana Gunanavasha Bande Gurasi Charanarabindam महाप्रभु कीर्तन नित्य गीता बादित्रमाजन्मन सोरसेना रोमांचकं पाशुतरंग भाजो वंदे गुरश्री चरणरविंदम संसारदावानललीललोका प्राणायकारिण घनाघनत्यम् सप्तसकल्याणगुणार्णवश वन्दे गुरश्री चरणारविन्दम् श्रीविग्रहाराधन नित्यनाना सिंगारतन मंदिर मार्जनादो श्रीविग्रहाराधन नित्यनाना सिंगारतन मंदिर मार्जनादो युक्तश्च भक्तांश्च निजुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरश्री चरणारविन्दम् युक्तश्च भक्तांश्च निजुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरश्री चरणारविन्दम् संसारदावानललीललोका